For most parents, the journey of raising children is littered with love, laughter, and the occasional misstep. But when you're Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos, America's charming power couple who've raised 3 children under the Hollywood spotlight, even your regrets are shared with the nation. In a recent candid interview, the couple opened up about a parenting moment involving the youngest son, Joaquin, that left them both cringing, and eventually laughing. "It haunts us," Kelly said, her voice half serious, half laced with a familiar self-deprecating chuckle. "Honestly, I think Joaquin has forgiven us, but we're still not sure we've forgiven ourselves." Mark nodded solemnly beside her. "We blew it. Completely missed the mark on this one." So what exactly happened? The forgotten performance. The story, as told by Kelly and Mark, unfolded when Joaquin was in the 7th grade. Like many parents, their schedules were a tangled mess of school drop-offs, after-school activities, last-minute dinners, and cross-country flights. At the time, Joaquin had joined the school drama club, somewhat reluctantly. "He wasn't super into it at first," Mark explained. "We thought it was just a way for him to meet more people, build confidence. He's our quiet one." So when Joaquin came home one evening clutching a wrinkled flyer, announcing the middle school's spring performance of The Tempest, in which he was cast as Ferdinand, the parents, admittedly, skimmed the information. "I mean, Shakespeare," Kelly laughed. "We were like, good for you, buddy, but in my head I was thinking, there's no way this is going to be more than 15 minutes and a cardboard boat." They pinned the flyer to the fridge, added the date to their already cluttered calendar, and moved on. But somehow, the date was misread. A Thursday mistaken for a Friday. A calendar alert accidentally snoozed. It was a small mix-up, but one that would deliver a big dose of parental guilt. The night that never was. On the evening of the actual performance, Kelly and Mark were home, completely unaware. Mark was grilling salmon. Kelly was knee-deep in emails. And Joaquin, he was on stage, delivering lines in iambic pentameter to a gymnasium full of parents, just not his. "We had no clue," Mark admitted, rubbing his forehead. "None." It wasn't until Joaquin came home later that night, quiet, as usual, that they realized something was off. He dropped his backpack, microwaved some leftover pasta, and said nothing. "I asked how rehearsal went," Kelly recalled, and he just said, "It wasn't rehearsal." Her stomach dropped. Mark looked at Joaquin. "Wait. Tonight was the play." Joaquin nodded. Kelly described the silence that followed as the kind only a teenager can create, judgmental, stoic, and impossible to interrupt. "It was like he was disappointed, but he didn't even have the energy to show it," she said. The guilt, the apologies, and the punchline. The apology tour began immediately. "We practically followed him around the house," Mark said. "We're so sorry. We'll make it up to you. We'll go to every play from now on. I even asked if they filmed it. They did not." Kelly offered to host a one-man performance in their living room. Joaquin declined. "He was very dignified about it," Kelly said. "Which made it worse. If he'd yelled or slammed a door, we could have grounded ourselves and moved on. But he just accepted it. Like he expected it from us." Despite their heartfelt apologies, the damage was done. The moment had passed, and Joaquin's brief Shakespearean debut would live on only in the memories of other parents, and, of course, in his own quiet ledger of disappointments. Lessons learned. Years have passed since that evening, and the story has now become something of a family legend. "We bring it up constantly," Mark said. "Usually when we're patting ourselves on the back for being great parents. One of the kids will say, 'Yeah, except for the time you missed Joaquin's play.'" Now a college sophomore, Joaquin has long since moved on. He didn't pursue theater further, shocking, Kelly joked, but he did get a standing ovation that night. "We heard about that from one of the moms," Kelly said. "Apparently he was incredible. Natural timing, great projection, everything." Mark shook his head, which made it even worse. The pressure of public parenting. For Kelly and Mark, the missed play isn't just a funny anecdote, it's a reminder that parenting, even with fame and fortune, is never perfect. There's this pressure, especially when you're in the public eye, to act like you've got it all together, Kelly explained. "But we don't. Nobody does." Mark added, "The truth is, we're just like everyone else." We miss things. We mess up. We've said the wrong thing, forgotten the right date, all of it. And in a way, the missed play has bonded them even more as parents, not just to Joaquin, but to their other kids, Michael and Lola. It showed us the importance of slowing down, Kelly said. Of not assuming you'll get another chance to show up. Because sometimes, there's only one night. Joaquin's take. When asked if he still holds it against his parents, Joaquin, true to form, shrugged. I was mad, sure, he said, in a brief text message relayed by Kelly during the interview. But now it's kind of funny. At least I got to say I once played Ferdinand without witnesses. The final act. In the end, it's a story of missed cues and late realizations, but also one of forgiveness, humility, and love. I think the most important thing we learned, Mark said, is that it's not about being perfect parents. It's about being present, when it counts, and especially when you mess up. And, Kelly added, don't trust the fridge calendar. It lies.